are some construction workers that are being very loud, and I didn't think about that before I started filming outside, so we're just gonna do this. Hi Monica! So last time I promised I'd tell you all about Wales and the rest of my trip, so here it is. For the last week of our trip we started out in Wales, the wonderful and rainy Wales. We went to this castle and it was absolutely pouring and none of it was covered and I didn't have a raincoat, but it was a really nice view and it stopped raining after a little bit. After the castle we went to a town which is spelled like this but pronounced Llandudno. So we took a cable car up to the top of the mountain and I didn't take any video from the top because it was so windy and so cold. I just stayed inside the restaurant the whole time until we could leave to go to the bottom. We got to the bottom, there was a group of people who rescue birds of prey, I think, and the guy came over and we got to pet his owl. It was pretty cool and really soft. After Wales we escaped the cold and rainy weather of the UK and went to Switzerland, and it was a lot hotter than I had packed for, but I survived. The first night we kind of just walked around and saw the city, and we actually ended up floating down the Rhine River later that week, which was really cool and nice and refreshing for the hot weather. And now I actually have some proof that we did academic things on our trip. We went to see Novartis in Basel, which was really cool and really high-tech and stuff. But we weren't allowed to film inside at all, so this is all you get. Sorry. One day we took a trip down to Lucerne and we went on a boat around the lake, which was really beautiful, and we took one of these things up the mountain to the top of Mount Pilatus and walked around, and surprisingly it was not very windy or cold, so it was a really nice trip. At the end of our trip we went down to the south of Switzerland to the Alps and we took a cable car up the mountain and then we hiked down it, which is a little bit of a cheat, but we still got to see the pretty views. And on one part of the hike we could hear a bunch of cowbells, but we could never see any animals, and then I turned the corner and there were a bunch of sheep just in the middle of the path, which was a little surprising. Once we finished our hike, we sat down at a restaurant to have lunch, and again we heard more cowbells and this horde of cows came walking by. On our last night we stayed in Geneva to take the plane the next day home, and it was the only day in the trip that it rained and I was so not prepared for it. It ended up not being that bad. We went to a fondue restaurant, which was delicious. The flight home was tiring and our first flight was delayed by like an hour. And when I came home I was really expecting Otis to be very happy, but he was more excited about Wales than me. So that is the finale of my trip abroad. I hope you're having a good week and I will see you later. Bye!